So now we're here in Marfa, and I actually heard from friends, because I have friends who live in Marfa, that there was an Occupy Marfa, and I was just like, really? Occupy Marfa? I was like, that's great, but I'm like, what are their demands? More literary readings? So the Occupy Wall Street movement comes into a moment where we have had complete institutional failure to deal with the economic crisis. There's been a mass delegitimization. It's a delegitimization of capitalism and corporations, depending on your perspective. It's a delegitimization of institutional politics. For anyone who ever hoped that government could actually regulate the market to benefit the middle class, workers, the poor to some degree, this was essentially been thrown out the window by the Obama presidency. Everyone knew the Republicans are not going to do this. But the Obama presidency was elected on this platform of hope and change, and what did they do? They put the Wall Street in charge of the economy. One of the reasons why Occupy Wall Street is such a great success, because in many ways it's created theater. And protest is always theater. The problem is usually it's bad theater. But Occupy Wall Street was really just very engaging theater where you had musicians, artists. It was like a village life. You had a kitchen, you had library, people camping there. There'd be fights. People would get up and deliver these beautiful testimonies. You'd also have crazy people there. It really was this microcosm of society. And then being New York City, you also just had so many media running around that it just created this enormous spectacle. But that's what was really drawing people in. I just wanted to say what's next, which I have no idea. Now, the Occupy movement it's certainly suffering under a lot of police repression. At the moment, dozens of occupations, as I mentioned, have been busted up in the last few weeks. People are trying to rethink how do they go on. One of the most inspiring groups we came across was in Mobile, Alabama, of all places. We met with a group of about 20 activists, almost all white, overwhelmingly young. This is very much also a youth-led movement. None of them knew each other before the occupation movement began, this group of 20 people. Yet they all lived in Mobile, and this was just a small part of their larger grouping. And they were talking about what the movement had done for them in almost religious terms, in terms of it's changed the way they looked at the world, that it's given them hope, that it's actually made them a social agent, someone who thinks that they can change the community. Some of the people were telling us, we were all going to leave Mobile. I had no hope for this place. Now we have hope. Now we think we can actually change Mobile, Alabama. And that's, I think, one of the most beautiful things about this movement, that it's very unexpected what it does, both socially and individually and to the larger body. But it is also clearly a threat, which is why the occupations have been attacked. So the big question going forward is the 2012 elections, and I'm not sure how the occupation movement is going to relate to it. I don't think that they will get sucked into the Democratic Party as much as different groups who jumped on the Occupy movement, like Move On, and a lot of the big unions will try to pull them into the Democratic Party. But that's what this really comes down to. How will they, over the next year, kind of try to influence the system from without, while not trying to get sucked into the inside? Because once they do get sucked into the inside, it's game over. The Democratic Party is it's the graveyard of social movements. When you see effective social change happening, it's because movements came from the outside. They have allies on the inside, but they always come from the outside to affect that social change.